I agree with Mahomes being number one. That's probably the only thing that I agree with, Skip. I think Joe Burrow should be in front of Justin Herbert. I think Josh Allen should be in front of Justin Herbert. As a matter of fact, I would put Trevor Lawrence in front of Justin Herbert. And I'm just basing it on this year, and I think that's what they're doing, basing it on this year. Ain't no way Dak Prescott should be in front of Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, or Geno Smith, Skip. Him and Brady, if you want to say a tie, because I don't think either one of those guys had a great year. They got their teams to the playoffs. Kudos for that. But nah, Skip, I got big problems with this list, especially with the rankings. Now, I will concede the number one. I think it should be a no-brainer. The guy's 500 yards better than everybody. He's at least 6 touchdowns passing, better than everybody. And the interceptions are not that far off. I mean, Burrow had 12, Allen had 14. Herbert had 10, but 16 fewer touchdown passes. So I don't have a problem with the number one, but I'm not putting Justin Herbert at number 2. I put Joe Burrow at 2. I'll put Allen at 3. I'll put Trevor Lawrence at 4. Then I'll be willing to go Justin Herbert 5. Man, you know what? I'm not putting him over Jalen Hurts. Nah, not based on this year.
No.
I understand the talent. Skip, the talent is there. It's undeniable. Big kid, rifle arm, can make every throw on the football field and make it routine. And he has better athleticism than you would think for a guy his size. But we got to stop just about, you see that arm talent. Yeah, I saw it. But I saw Jalen Hurts win a bunch of games. So for me, like I said, number one, other than that, I got a problem with the ranking.
Okay, I'm going to start at the top, and then I'm going to go down to the proverbial bottom here at number 9. But I'm going to start at the top. Let me address your Justin Herbert issue first. What's his playoff record? Help me out. Anybody notice? It's like none, because he hasn't ever played a playoff game.
Exactly.
Wait, you vault up, and I'm
to number 2?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're second on this list, and you've never played one snap of a playoff game? Okay, you know how I feel about Joe Burrow. I think of the young gun quarterbacks, he's the best. I would put him slightly above Patrick Mahomes, in part because he's beaten him all 3 times. That's just me. I'll take him. I think he plays the position a little better than Patrick does because Patrick, for my taste, is not a careful gambler. He's a careless gambler. He's going to try things and sometimes pull them off just because he is so supremely gifted and confident in his own abilities. But there are too many times it's poor footwork, it's sidearm, it's between the legs, it's behind the back, and it doesn't work because this league is too good for that. You can only do so much of that in this league. And I think he tries to live up to his own reputation too much. And Josh Allen tries to live up to Patrick Mahomes' reputation because he tries to go Patrick, and he's not as good as Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Just overall, Patrick is better than Josh Allen. I'll take Patrick any day or night over Josh Allen. And Josh is another one who's done a lot of very good things in this league, and he's 3-3 in the playoffs. But Patrick is 8-3 in the playoffs, and he does have a Super Bowl win with a Super Bowl MVP. So he should be second on this league to Joe Burrow, who I thought had a real shot to win last year's Super Bowl. Joe is now 3-1 in the postseason. So I would go him slightly above. Now we go to Lamar at 5. Dak at 6, Trevor Lawrence, who's obviously this is his first career playoff start, also against another guy. So we got 2 young gun quarterbacks Saturday. It's Saturday, right, at Jacksonville. Saturday that have never played a playoff game before, but they're both wildly talented.
Yes.
We get that. Jalen Hurts, I'm his biggest fan. I think I'm his biggest supporter, and he plays for a rival team of mine. But I have loved him from the start. I said he was going to change life in Philadelphia when they stole him in the second round, and he has. And God bless him. I just wish he hadn't got hurt because I thought he deserved the MVP, but that's a moot point because Patrick has put up Star Wars numbers, and they're just impossible to argue with, especially when Jalen couldn't play the second game against Dallas.
Right.
If he'd gone to Dallas, healthy and beaten Dallas, man, I don't know. It would have been hard to argue against him.
Yeah.
But he still had a sensational year this year. He was the driving force of a team. Well, as their starter, he was 12-1, so you can't take that away. All right, here we go again. Tom Brady is 9th on this list. I can guarantee you one thing about this. If Tom Brady is made aware of this, as we speak right now down in Tampa, he is chuckling to himself. Okay, I hear you. Watch this. Because I still say, of all these quarterbacks, if the money's on the line and he's got a shot to win a playoff game, I would bet on him ahead of any of these guys because he's still got that going on. And again, you and I have thought about this all year long, but I don't see a decline in his skills. I did see a huge drop-off in his supporting cast. So is it him or the supporting cast, or is it all wound together?
I mean, Skip, if you think about it, you're saying like these 28 and 29-year-old players are dropping off, but a 45-year-old quarterback is the same as if he was 30.
Okay. I don't see a decline in skills because if you go back and put the tape into that Carolina game, that was some big-time throwing.
So what about the ability to stand there and look down the barrel?
Okay. Well, he's not going to do it. But here's the point. Supporting cast has declined, like, shockingly. That offensive line this year wasn't half the performers that they were a year ago or the year before when they won the Super Bowl.
Skip,
not even half.
But Skip, you do realize they gave up the same amount of sacks, but Tom Brady threw 18 fewer touchdowns.
That's on him. He's just going to throw it away.
Okay.
So if somebody breaks free immediately, you know what he's going to do? He's just going to throw it to the ground.
But Tom always, he did that the year before.
Okay, but look at what they lost. They lose a Pro Bowl left guard to retirement. They lose a Pro Bowl center to injury, and they lose he was a premium free agent, Alex Cappa, to Cincinnati.
Right.
Okay. Donovan Smith just fell off the map this year and missed 4 games. But in the games that he played, he led the NFL in penalties as a left tackle. Okay. Tristan Wirfs is a stud, but he got hurt. It's really 6 games ago, and he missed 4 of them and tried to man up and warrior up and play the other couple.
But, Skip, I give you that. Yes, they had some guys to retire. They lost some guys via free agency, and they had a guy that got injured. But they still gave up the same amount of sacks.
Okay. Well,
22.
He's just not going to allow people to sack him because he can't. Because you can't when you're 45. But he's too smart for that.
So what about those 18 fewer touchdowns? What was the cause of that?
All right. Their receiving core is graded right now by Pro Football Focus 19th in the league. Well, that's not even average, obviously, right? There are 32 teams, and they're graded 19th because they have not been able to replace Gronkowski. And I told you before the year, I believe he's going to come back and save his buddy Tommy like November 1st. And it was reported he called, and they had big, deep discussions about will you or won't you? They don't have any money left. And as he told TMZ the other day, if somebody wants to give me half their salary cap, yeah, I'll come back. And you made the point. Yeah. You would. Because you got to take a beating, and it's not that fun to do what he does.
No, but I think he'd come back for Tampa. I don't think he'd come back anywhere else because it's a system that he already does.
They would have to give him money, and they had none left.
Right.
And again, how many favors is he going to do for his best buddy, Tommy? Well, it's over, right?
Yes.
And I believe there's a little part of Brady. You know how he is with challenges. Like, okay, I'm going to show everybody I can do it with 2 rookie tight ends.
Right.
What's the drop-off in productivity? You got Cade Otton and Cole Keeft versus, as you acknowledge it.
Kyle Rudolph.
Well, he came out of retirement on the doghouse.
Yeah.
He was in the doghouse. He caught a touchdown pass.
He did.
I don't know. Is he going to be some factor going forward? I doubt it. I don't know it. But you even acknowledged back in 2016, Gronk is the greatest tight end ever.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about trust? You want to talk about security blanket? Yeah. Remember, last year, when in doubt, Brady threw it to that guy, right?
Yes.
And you want to talk about connection and rapport? I'm not sure any receiver ever had better rapport with the quarterback than those 2 had under pressure, right?
But think about it, Skip. Mike Evans went over 1,000 yards again.
Yep.
I think Chris Godwin had 100 catches again. So the numbers are still there. But you say those guys fell off, but Brady's still the same. You see nothing. You see no difference in Brady's play.
It's 19th that they're graded as a group because there's no speed at all. And I told you, I thought Julio was going to replace AB because for all of his issues, Antonio Brown had a wavelength with Tom Brady. All of his parting shots at Tom Brady, you want to talk about a connection? Yeah. It was huge. And you remember, it's at the very end of the year last year, he melts down and walks off and walks into the sunset, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Brady missed him because I thought maybe Russell Gage could take up a little of the slack. Right. He was hurt. He missed 5 games. Mm-hmm. And I don't see any AB in Russell Gage at all.
No, there's not, though, Skip. But if you look at where they graded Brady as a middle-of-the-pack quarterback, where he was graded number. Now, remember now, Skip, last year he was number 1. Now he's 15, 16. So he's dropped off also, like his skill players.
They are dead last in rushing. Tom Brady is one of the great play-fake artists that ever played that position. Right. it's an art form, and a lot of the great ones had it. I'm not just saying he's the great, but he's up there with the greats. It's play fake. It's commanding the football and selling that it's a handoff.
Right.
And there, you have to practice it, and you turn it into your own little art form. Well, if you can run the football and you can make them fear your run, you can just slit them to pieces off the play fake. Well, they're laughing at the play fake now, the defenses are, because they can't run a lick. So all of a sudden, you've taken a big weapon away from Tom Brady. So he struggles, and they stumble around, and they can't get it in the end zone. And then what happens in the fourth quarter? What did he do this year? Who threw for the most yards in the fourth quarter in the whole league? Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady Jr., because they finally say, okay, we give up. Let's go, no huddle. How about it?
Well, Skip, they probably spent the most time behind in the fourth quarter.
Well, they did. And by the way, he threw the most touchdown passes in the fourth quarter because they're just like, let's just let it fly.
Right.
Okay? I pounded the table over here. Let it fly a little more often. You know, maybe you should run the no huddle. Maybe they will against Dallas. I don't know. In the first quarter. Maybe you should run one series in the second quarter. And you said, well, you're going to gash your receivers anyway.
Right.
And they looked a little old and tired all year anyway. Okay, so whatever this is, whatever happened, all Brady knows is I have a chance to win a playoff game on Monday night in my house, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that makes him as dangerous as any of these players, because I'm going to remind everybody that the best playoff record on this list belongs to your guy Mahomes at 8-3 at the top of this list. Down at number 9 is a guy who's 35-12 in the postseason, and as you well know, the 35 includes, the first 6 Super Bowls in New England. He won every one of them with a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter or overtime, obviously against Atlanta, and 7 Super Bowls out of 10 that you played in. Well, the experience is just off the charts.
Yes.
And okay, let's just, for the sake of your argument, let's say his skills have declined 20%. I can't see it, but whatever. Let's say they've declined 20%. Well, he's still sitting there in Tampa with an opportunity to win a playoff game, and he's looking up this ladder at everybody that, is this the Ringer? I think it is. The Ringer says that these guys are all better. They're more valuable than you right now in playoff games. And trust me, he's chuckling over this because he's saying, okay, I'll show you.
Well, if you listen, their resume, nobody's resume. If you combine everybody's resume, it doesn't equal his. But if you just based on these playoffs and you're basing it off this year's performance, I think Tom Brady is ranked where he should be.
Okay.
The question is, what about your other guy at 6?
Okay.
I know you ain't mentioned him.
That is a question. I would rank Brady ahead of Dak Prescott. In fact, just on pure performance. Well, what's Dak? What is he? He's 1-3 in the postseason, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the same as Lamar, is 1-3. Would I take Lamar over Dak right now? Yes, I would. I'd give a slight edge to Lamar. Would I take Jalen over Dak right now? Jalen's 0-1 because he lost to Brady last year, okay? Would I? Yes, I would. Would I take Trevor Lawrence over Dak? Well, I saw him go head to head, and I saw Trevor outplay Dak Prescott in the game at Jacksonville.
If we just basing it on this year, Skip, Geno Smith outplayed Dak this year.
Okay.
I mean, I know this is...
Well, he did. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Kirk Cousins outplayed Dak, right? I know he had some stinkers, and he had one against my team. But he just did. I'm with you. It's almost like Dak is at 6 on reputation or because he plays for Dallas?
That must be it, because his reputation, he ain't like he won a whole bunch of games in the playoffs.
No.
He ain't got no rep. I can see Patrick Mahomes, like you said, he's 8-3 come playoffs, and that's more wins than all the rest of the AFC combined. But Dak Prescott reputation, you hear keep legacy. What legacy?
I don't know.
What has he done to start a legacy?
He's lost 3 out of 4 playoff games.
So okay? I'm confused by this ranking. I just don't. I understand. Like I said, I understand Justin Herbert's talent. He's immensely talented.
You want to know the truth? The quiet, simple, sort of unseen truth. I think Daniel Jones wound up having a better year than Dak Prescott did, because over the last 5 games, I kept looking out of one eye, out of the corner of one eye.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones started to play football, right? Like real live quality football.
Yes.
To me, I don't know.
He was just mistake prone, Skip. I mean, he a guy that can run. We see him break away for 80-yard touchdown runs. Everybody, I mean, unless you're Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields, that just doesn't happen. but it was always the crucial, the mistake that would nullify a great drive they would have going on.
But Brian Daboll took that job and said, guess what? I can make something out of it.
Well, you see what he did with Josh Allen, too.
Yeah, he did. There you go.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.